All right, let's talk about one of the most iconic villains of all time, Morgan Le Fay. For centuries, she's been the classic evil sorceress of Arthurian legend. But in the transmedia project Verdant and Gold, that's all been turned on its head. She's been completely re-engineered, not as a villain, but as the complex, intellectual force driving the whole story. Today, we're looking at Morgan as the architect.
And that really gets us to the core idea behind this whole thing, right? What if the villain of a legend was actually its protagonist? What happens to a story when you flip the script that dramatically, when the character you always thought was the antagonist is revealed to be the true, and frankly, most fascinating hero of her own story?
So here's the difference in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the classic legend, the evil sorceress motivated by jealousy, by malice, you know the drill. But on the other side, in this deconstruction, she's the architect, a total mastermind with this incredibly deep, philosophical reason for everything she does. It's not just a different character, it's a whole new game.
So if she's not just evil, what's driving her? To really get what she's doing, you have to look past the magic and the schemes. You have to get into the why behind her game. And trust me, this isn't about some simple power grab. It's a full-blown rebellion rooted in a really powerful philosophy.
And here's the label they give her, which is, wow, a Renaissance Neoplatonist philosopher and anarchist. I know that's a lot to take in, but what it really boils down to is this. She's not trying to conquer anything. She's a liberator. She sees a system that she believes is intellectually and morally bankrupt, basically a prison for your mind, and she wants to tear it down.
So her goal isn't conquest. It's not about sitting on a throne. No, what she's aiming for is something the source material calls a psychological apocalypse. I mean, how cool is that? She wants to completely shatter the court's collective ego, their self-perception, and force this massive, maybe even painful awakening from what she calls a mindless herd morality.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures how she sees Arthur's court. While everyone else is looking at Camelot like it's the shining beacon of chivalry, Morgan sees something else entirely. She sees a totalitarian gilded cage of self-satisfied virtue. It's a beautiful prison, you know? A place where high ideals have become just another form of control.
And that cynicism? It absolutely extends to the famous Knights of the Round Table. In her eyes, they're not heroes. They're basically celebrities trapped by the shining, polished chains of their own reputation. Think about that. Their virtue isn't real, it's a performance. Their honor is a brand they have to protect at all costs. They're just as trapped as anyone else.
So, this entire philosophy, her whole worldview, it all leads to the most mind-bending part of this whole reimagining. It's this meta-twist, this radical idea that gives her the unique power she needs to actually pull off her plan.
So what's her secret? It's so simple, but it changes everything. She knows she's in a story. That's it. She is fully 100% aware that she's a character, and that knowledge is her ultimate weapon.
But how does she figure this out? It's not just some magic vision. It's actually a logical leap. She looks around and realizes she exists in something like a long-running comic book, one that's full of inconsistencies and retcons. She sees her own legacy as this twisted game of telephone that's been played for centuries, and at that point she just decides, nope, I'm done. She's going to seize control of her own narrative.
Okay, probably the best way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Think of her as a rogue video game developer. Step 1. She realizes she's actually a character inside the very game, the very simulation she helped create. Step 2. The hack. She starts using her magic like it's source code to change the game's rules. Step 3. The glitch. She creates and spawns the Green Knight, who is basically a bug designed to crash the whole program of chivalry. And finally, Step 4. The awakening. She does all this to force the other characters to wake up.
So, okay, she's got this incredible meta-knowledge, she's got this radical philosophy. Now what? Now she puts it all into action. Let's get into the what of her master plan, the specific, tangible steps she takes to pull off this grand experiment.
Her main tool, her instrument, isn't just some random monster she summons. No, the Green Knight is something else entirely. He's described as a biological weapon of mass deconstruction. He's not just a villain, he's a precision-engineered agent of chaos, built for a very specific purpose.
And his creation story is wild. The text describes it as a horrific, hallucinogenic alchemical ritual. She literally takes a nobleman, Lord Bertilac, and imbues him with the green skin of raw, untamed life. He becomes this amoral force of nature, the perfect test for an artificial system like Camelot that thinks it has everything under control.
But while her weapon is out there causing chaos, Morgan doesn't just sit back and watch. She embeds herself directly into the experiment, and this is where her genius really shines. She puts on this flawless disguise as a physically repulsive old hag. She makes herself invisible, totally underestimated by everyone at court. But in reality, she's the silent judge. She's the master of the game, pulling every single string from the inside.
Okay, so this incredibly elaborate game, her mind-bending awareness, this living weapon she creates, it all builds toward one single ultimate goal. It's all designed to achieve one profound objective.
And here it is. This is the end game for the architect. Her ultimate objective is to hold a mirror to the soul of Arthur's court. That's it. The whole thing, the entire Green Knight affair, is a philosophical experiment meant to force them to take a long, hard look at themselves.
So what does she want them to see in that mirror? Not their glory, not their fame. She wants them to see their hypocrisy. Her entire mission is to force the court to confront the cracks and fissures of human failing that they've buried deep beneath all that polished armor. She's there to prove that their perfect code is nothing more than a beautiful, fragile illusion.
When you look at it this way, this whole reimagining just completely transforms Morgan. She's not a simple villain anymore. She's this complex, brilliant deconstructionist. And it leaves us with one last, really provocative question to think about. Who's the real villain here? Is it the one who builds the beautiful prison, the gilded cage? Or is it the one who has the courage to design its deconstruction?